Different layers of the Atma itself, which is spherical, are comprised, and yes, I just started the recording. The rest was just for you. Different layers of the different spectrum of light colors that you perceive or can see that comprise the different layers of the Atma. Those colors are beyond human sight. They are made up of energy that is not nuclear or atomic, it's not DNA, it's not atoms. They're made up of energies, of layers of things that come from above the void. So actually you're down here as an Atma, functioning in all your layers as a drop from an ocean of almost pure white, slightly golden light. The core of your being looks identical to the source behind all life. This has never changed. This has been there since before bodies were made or lower dimensions were formed or silent mentors started playing with organizing and maintaining such things. That goes back so far it'd boggle your mind. Hundreds of billions of years. And then there was no time and space. Time and space is relative to measurements between different vibrational levels that make up the lower worlds of time and space. Time and space in that way do not exist in the void or higher at all. So, our true nature is not time and space or bodies that grow old and die or any of those kinds of things. As energy from source, we don't eat, we don't need to sleep, we don't get fatigued, you don't go to the bathroom, you don't do any of that stuff. Those are body forms in different planes that you run, made of elements much lower in vibration to comprise the DNA of a human body, say on Earth. Twin-stranded. Well, that's a joke, since you're supposed to have 4, minimum, but we have 2 here. I haven't even disclosed in these journeys to anyone where that 4 became 2 and how. It goes back a long ways in galactic history. Long before you were ever caught. But you got to remember, many beings were caught by reptilians in a Cold War for 500,000 years until it was finally stopped. Had 4-stranded DNA when they were captured. When they were compelled to run a body on Earth, the bodies on Earth already had 2 strands, not 4. Now, how did that happen? There's a lot to know. Where did that come from? That's like, okay, scientists, you're so bright with your PhDs. Where did the asteroid field come from between Mars and Jupiter? That's orbits in the orbit of what was a planet, in a space roughly twice the distance between Mars and Jupiter than any other planets in our solar system. They can't figure it out. They keep thinking in terms of failed planets and bits and pieces that somehow just coalesced together and started spinning around the sun in an orbit. No, that's silly. A planet orbits the sun. Let's take Earth. Maybe, let's give an example, 55,000 miles per hour around the sun relative to Earth's speed in miles per hour, or kilometers per hour if you prefer. When it's moving in an orbit that way, at that speed, and it's blown apart, some of those big chunks get further out of that gravitational pull between the bigger gas giants, between this place where Maldek was when it was blown up. So one of them hit Earth's Mars atmosphere and destroyed basically life on that planet. Another one hit Earth. Most of those coalesced, already moving at high speed, around the sun. And eventually the gravitational pull between the sun and other worlds coalesced that blown up rubble into a stretched out field called the asteroid field that continued at that speed to orbit the planet between centrifugal and centripetal forces. Gravitational forces that pull on things and those that push them away. So we have an asteroid field. That's how it got there. Who's teaching that in any school on Earth? No one. They don't know it. They can't even dream about it. because they're too afraid to look into their own past to see it. Now, if you think about this for a moment, then you realize why they don't see it. Fear. Fear they don't even know they have implanted in them. That's where most of the problems come from with beings. Because they grow up being taught to fear almost everything. Governments, taxation, wars, nuclear energy, radiation, holes in the ozone layer, chemtrails, you name it, we've got it. None of which is normal. Not any of it. Can you imagine what it will take to get government people and religious leaders on earth to admit their own dishonest nature and start behaving like normal people with each other? And more importantly, to begin to respect the life they pray to beyond earth every day, while they're willing to kill each other over differences of opinion. Pretty silly stuff. But this is the way Earth is right now, and has been for, well, literally millions of years, actually. You have no idea how many cultures have come and gone on this planet and been destroyed overnight in 65 million years. Lemriel and Atlantis were just the most recent phenomena that came and went. There were many others before that. See, if you grew up on a planet learning this from childhood, this would be common knowledge to you. You'd have no problem comprehending it. Even in a physical body, it would grow up understanding and accepting such things. The purpose of these journeys, as long as they continue, are to help people have their own direct awakening experience of what they were made to forget. Basically, that's it. And they were made to forget it one way or another, either by their own misjudgment, their own self-created fear, or stuff that was forced on them in one lifetime or another over countless ages. Your physical body and personality on earth could not handle just how many lives you've run as a single man. It couldn't comprehend it at all. Best to leave that stored in the Atma until you're ready to deal with it, without trying to associate that awareness with your physical body and personality and brain on earth, because it can't accept such vast, multidimensional understanding. You can. The body cannot. It can be taught and enlightened to accept understanding what the Atma passes to it. But the actual understanding of the experience of knowing is from the Atma. And here's the real kicker to all of this. None of you have ever died. None of you have ever been a body. But you've run billions of them. So how old are we as Atmas? And we're not talking about the age of a lifetime on Earth. We're not talking about bodies. How old are you? On a grand cosmic multidimensional scale, how old are you? Older than the stars you see in the galaxy, and they're billions of years old. Older than the galaxies, the hundreds of millions, even billions of them that are out just our physical universe. You're older than that. Those things came after us. It's important to know that we're at the beginning of creation, we were all there. We didn't originate in the lower worlds of time and space. Just sharing this with you telepathically would benefit you in ways you can't even yet imagine. But once you could, long ago. So you can again. There is nothing of any negative nature stored in the different layers of the Atma. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Nothing whatsoever. So that means you cannot be negative and sadistic and bad. And all these are just twistings of the normal functioning of an Atma. Through fear that terrorizes that Atma to harm others or do things against others before it's done to them. That's the evil thinking. That's the negative backward psychology of insanity. There is no genius to evil. It's just twisted truth. It's twisted normal behavior. It's done by terrorizing images you don't see consciously that affect your behavior. None of you have this problem, like a tyrant, like a Hitler, or anything like that. The tendency to be misdirected in what you decide to do on earth is very strong in people on earth, to not do anything that might wake them up or liberate them. You know this as well as I do. It's a challenge to get anybody to change on this planet. They'd fight you to the death, some of them, to keep those things they believe in that keep them stuck like 2 feet down in mud trying to run. It can't be done. Can't have it both ways. So I'm telling you this because if you've never had any negative nature, everything else you're experiencing where you feel doubt and guilt and shame and all those negative things and fear of the present and future, those were forced into you or you acquired them by accident one way or another over a very long period of time. They have nothing whatsoever to do with you. Nothing in the Atma has ever been damaged or broken by the most powerful nuclear weapon or beam ray. In the lower worlds of time and space, bodies can be destroyed easily. Bolt of lightning could hit you when you're walking down the street and fry you to a pile of powder. But you would just be sitting there looking at the pile of powder. You can't be harmed. The more you know this, the more masterful you are, as you should be over the lower things of time and space, which are just slower vibration rates of the hue made manifest so you can play in them. That's fair enough. Let's go into the 5 hues and go on a journey. What we're doing now is direct experience. It's recorded. It's been telepathic since we first got on Zoom. And now it's deepening. Your bodies naturally go into the trance state called sleep because that's what you do without effort every night anyway. The difference is my voice, the beings I work with, and the hue expansion ray passing through me to help you stay awake after some training and let the body sleep, leave it alone, and go on the journey as the being you really are. I'll send out the hues with my vocal cords. Do it with me, match my tones. We're going to do 6 of them. We're going to be establishing a link from us through the hue expansion ray, through the master teachers, and through the vortex all the way to the source. We do this right up front before we even start experiencing being out of the body in space looking at Earth. We make that connection back to your physical body through the pineal gland, through which you run that body, charge it, keep it running. So you're always going to be bringing back a higher awareness of these journeys as the Atma and transferring what it can into the human consciousness on Earth. This changes you, enlightens you, expands your intelligence even on Earth, starts to make more of your brain work instead of 10%, 6 to 10%. What would happen if your entire 100% of your brain were actually functioning? Because they've measured people. People only use a small fraction of their total brain today on Earth. That's not normal. Nothing normal about it. As long as people are taught it's normal, they keep the limitation manifesting, limiting, because they were misdirected by people misdirected to teach them things which keep them stuck. On other worlds, they don't have a status quo to maintain. They don't have governments that are corrupt to maintain a status quo. They're made up of their most advanced, spiritually enlightened beings. Money's not used, so that's never a motivation. I'll begin those tones now. And all I did was continue the tone all the way up to source. And I didn't do it alone. When you imagine being near the ceiling looking at your body, it's exactly the same faculty you use unconsciously to see yourself going to the store. First, you visualize where you want to go, right? And then your body follows where you direct it to go. You get in the car, you turn the key, you drive the car. But it's really the Atma driving that body, not the other way around. People on Earth aren't even aware that their imagination doesn't come from their body, their brain cells, or anything else. It is not a physical, molecular DNA phenomena. It is one of the functions of the Atma to see and know things. And past that seeing and knowing on to the physical forms, it's running in all the planes. Physical, astral, these are major dimensional divisions. Causal, mental, etheric. The void, it's bigger and vaster than all the lower dimensions put together. And then there's the Atma plane, Satnam Sarma, and it's bigger than that. Space and time become ever wider and less manifest as a trap as you go up through the planes towards the source. Still a trap in them. In the etheric, there's very little negative nature mixed with the energy that makes up those 144 parallel dimensions. They're basically there designed originally so the higher self there would enlighten the selves below it in a direct conscious manner. Something went wrong, and higher selves aren't helping each other, or the body form you have running on Earth. This is wrong. Your higher self should be consciously helping, and for most part, from what I've seen, people on Earth don't have their higher selves helping them at all. They're all selfish, fixated in their dimension. Astral bodies running around doing astral things, moving matter with emotions, could care less about the causal body or the physical body below, because something was done to them too. Basically, something was done to the Atma to forget how to master them. Think about that. Just knowing this is liberating, because you know something now you should not be able to know without being free from a subconscious mind altogether. How is that possible? Anything is possible with the Hue expansion ray. When it starts to connect to you, things change permanently. And it's good that it was set up so when this happens now, it cannot be reversed. You can't become not evil and then fall back to being evil. See what I mean? It's one way. There are 3 worlds out in our Milky Way galaxy, and others in the Andromeda and in other galaxies as well, where experimentation is done by masterful beings, silent mentors, and technically advanced scientists as well, who know all this stuff, to find the best ways to set beings atmosphere that are running animal bodies unknowingly, bird bodies unknowingly, sea life unknowingly, humans unknowingly, extraterrestrials unknowingly. They're designed to find ways to undo the tight knots of subconsciousness that people have been drowning in for billions of years. No Atma has ever been destroyed, ever. Bodies, yeah, dime a dozen. Whole planets wiped out all life. Maldek blew up all the animals, plants, people. Everything was destroyed in an instant on a planetary scale. Everything, even microbial life. Nothing was left of any physical living nature. All genetic entities and DNA forms were destroyed. The Atmas were not. Where did they come? Where were they compelled to go after that? They're your fellow beings on Earth today, with a subconscious compulsive nature to destroy themselves, to relive the experience they already, through lack of knowing, did once long ago in our solar system. There was once another planet in our solar system that is no longer there. It's written right in front of your faces. Go to astronomy and look at it. There's an asteroid field circling the orbit of a planet between Mars and Jupiter. How did it get there? Okay, here's another one. How do rings 1.5 miles thick, made of frozen water chunks, circle a gas giant planet? Water. How did that get there? Why is it there? It did not come from the gas giant. But this is what scientists on Earth today know is there. They've had satellites go there and probes, and it's made of water. Surprise. Isn't that interesting? We explore this to expand your ability to comprehend and understand greater things, even while you're running that body and personality on Earth. When you're near the ceiling, you will see a couple signed to you. Jantial and Tonaltial are assigned to Quan. Dantiam and Lamtiam are assigned to V today. It switches around. They're all as good as each other. Other couples are assigned to Pari and myself. They're there to help us to keep turned off subconscious negative anything when we go on these journeys. So we can bring back some of this pure energy that has not been perverted, that is not of the positive and negative opposing forces in minds and emotions and in people on Earth. So we bring back an energy that when we return helps to charge Earth's depleted atmosphere. It's the law of economy. It works through us for our benefit, but it's not self-centered. It works through us for our benefit and the benefit of others and for all life on Earth. And once it's done charging something, it continues and reconnects through the core of the galaxy and goes right back to source, like the sign of infinity, up and down and never ending and never stopping. The Hue expansion ray only moves one way. It used to move two. There are places in the upper worlds where the energy moving up and down the trunks of trees move both ways, but it's the same energy. One is a carrier from things going from below source back to source, like sharing with it. And another one is one that comes from source, sharing what that sharing created back to the lower worlds, changing things. It goes in a loop like that. The Hue expansion ray, the golden white light, the first sound, first word, first anything behind all creation, is not a spoken word. It's not a written word. It is not matter or DNA. It is not nuclear atomic energy. It's not nuclear explosions on a sun. It's not any of those things. When you look in space and see billions of galaxies and all that darker area appears like dark blue or black, that is the Hugh expansion ray itself now. It is far more vast than the little galaxies and stars that float in it. And it becomes more vast on its way up to the void. Galaxies and stars and people and bodies are brighter and more capable and have more capabilities than Earth people. Heck, people and just the nearest neighbors in the galaxy have greater abilities than Earth people in physical bodies. For one thing, the telomeres on each end of their DNA do not shrink every time cells divide like they do on Earth people, which is what aging is. If your telomeres don't shrink and a command energy is sent into the genomes that make up that DNA for aging, is turned on properly, your cells don't age. The telomeres don't shrink when cells divide. You don't age. That is a masterful understanding of genetic science on a molecular level. Beings out in the galaxy have mastered this millions of years ago, probably billions, some of them. So teaching that to us or helping us with that is not a big deal for them. You're near the ceiling and you look and you're projecting a perfect looking female or male body, about 36, just like the Galactic Alliance couple that's standing beside you. You were once one of them. They're wearing a Galactic Alliance uniform, blue-gray, single body form thing you step into. The footwear is built into it. Slip into it with their arm, slips up over their upper torso, one-piece clothing. Practical. Galactic Alliance symbol in their right chest. Kind of a big silver, white, golden galaxy. Kind of a golden silver galaxy, rather. Four-sided golden pyramid above the bulge of the apex with a quartz top and 3 blue stars in triangular formation above the apex as a symbol for the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds. The beings in Andromeda have a different symbol, but it means basically the same thing. It's a trinary, a series of 3s and 9s and 12s, 16, and so forth. 20 and 24. Anything that is divisible by 3s is kind of like the way the universe was built. 3 dimensions, 3 points. There are other points making them multiple dimensions, like doorways between realities. So they're showing you a body form you can see, and you're showing them a body form that's well dressed. If you want, you could even see yourself in a Galactic Alliance uniform again. It might help. Standing between them, projected out in front of the spherical beings you are near the ceiling, and you're gazing down at your sleeping physical body. It's on automatic, breathing, heart working, everything's fine. But mostly it's turned off just to run, to live, to breathe, to have the heart work. But no one's home. The link you have between the core of your being and the pineal gland to run that body is not breakable. It's not an astral cord. It's not a golden cord between the physical body and the astral or causal or mental or any of that stuff. It is not a physical DNA or molecular cord of energy. It's the you passing through your pineal gland and running your body. Pretty simple stuff. Cosmic science, you might call it. Do you know how anti-gravitic propulsion works? You build a device with no moving parts that can harness the hue in space and run it through your craft to create a field of energy around it more powerful than a planet it's near. then it can ride on the magnetic fields that surround a planet. It is a field of energy, a big circular energy that comes out the South Pole, goes in the north, like the aura around your body. An energy field like that can be increased in power or diminished to do different things. Around a physical vehicle of a certain shape, it creates an electromagnetic field around the craft that can be increased or diminished in power to drive it one direction or another, riding on the parallel gravitational fields of a body in space they're on or around. So you can make 90-degree turns at 10,000 miles an hour and nobody inside the ship would feel a thing. There's no outward forces of a planet's gravity or centrifugal or centripetal forces pulling on occupants in that craft. This is something scientists on Earth, a few understand now. They're not very good at making it work. A little bit. What they have done, reverse engineering certain craft on Earth, classified, basically was borrowed from science of other beings, and they didn't earn it or develop it on Earth themselves. The danger in that is they're not experienced directly how to use it wisely when they get it working. This is of great concern to beings from other worlds, because they know full well what the end result of beings who are too immature to know how to use energy properly do with it in the end. They destroy themselves with it. Old story in Galactic Alliance history. Ancient story. It's always the same. The difference is they're not allowing Earth to do this time. Or we'd all be gone already. Make no mistake about this. The energy coming down through the ceiling is like a golden light bulb that you can see in the dark. There's a yellow light cone coming down from the ceiling right through you, all three of you, in the forms you show each other, through the body, and out through the electromagnetic field that surrounds your body. It's much different than psychics think. What they call the aura is not a thin layer of colors around your body at all. That's all they can see. It is a duplicate field of energy around the body that surrounds the Atma that runs the body. What the Atma looks through subconsciously, distorted, your life on Earth looks through subconsciously distorted. It is because of this that people don't make decisions often that get them free from being unconscious running bodies. Fear is artificially created and implanted. It is not an original or a true emotion or part of the Atma at all. It belongs in the lower worlds, separated into positive and negative opposites, like two poles of a battery to create form. It does not belong in the consciousness inside an Atma. That's the problem. This you is flowing through you into Earth right now, beginning to make changes to leaders and people and charges in the ocean. It's the one power from Source under directive of very masterful beings that are doing this, beyond our limited capabilities, because we're cooperating to help be part of the problem, solution, rather, help be part of the solution instead of remaining part of the problem. As more people become more of the solution on Earth, the world will change. It doesn't take a huge percentage of the population, but it does take some. There's a flash of white or bright golden light that flows down like a pulse of energy through the ceiling, and you find yourself in outer space around Ambassador Trellian, who's been patiently waiting for us 18 feet tall, he's showing you this masterful looking body, strongly built, white gown on to just above his bare feet, simple, slightly pointed ears, slightly wavy blonde hair to his shoulders, bigger blue, crystalline clear blue eyes, slightly bigger than Earth human. And he's got his two thumbs up, closed fists, and a foot-thick golden white light around them, brighter than the hue of space that surrounds us everywhere, around the Earth, the moon, the suns, and the stars. Out here, it isn't black to us. We're not using the physical limits of eyes to try to see it. We're seeing it in 360 degrees in every direction from the white core of our being. That's how an Atma sees and hears in every direction, all at once. The couple mentioned earlier standing beside you is standing to each side of you, showing you the body forms they show you that look human, but they are not made of matter. And you're between them. Above Ambassador Trellian is the spherical Atma, quite brilliant, quite bright, bigger than us, more like a silent mentor, really. And above him, Etten Din, Drens, feisty, courageous, cute to a fault, endearing, lovable, brilliant, photographic memories, vocal cords. They speak English and any other language. They aren't even human. Silica-based. Their DNA is made up of the molecules based on silica, not carbon, like Earth people. They evolved on Oceania, where Master Opelum is from, and he's out in the circle of beings to my right. I'm further out in space. Pari's to my left. A couple of you are on the other side of this circle, standing in a circle with these guides keeping your fears turned off, standing to each side of you. Up above Etten Din is Light Sea, just standing there. Beautiful, brilliant spherical Atma above him. And he's showing you a well-dressed, maroon robe, esoteric symbols all over, little circular hat, a little broad, how do you pronounce it? It's a flat-faced, donut-shaped hat, a Fu Manchu-type beard, about 5'6" or 7", short. Blue eyes, crystal clear blue eyes. That's showing you an etheric body, so when you look at it again, it becomes transparent. You can see right through it. And above him, the Atma, he is. This Atma runs this etheric body on the etheric plane and then volunteers to work as the custodian and caretaker and teacher of the pyramid, the tree of life in it, out the western roadway, first turn to the right in a clearing. Think of what it takes to bring back visions and places and spaces and people and the way they look from these realities to your life on Earth, because there's no time and space there. Physical appearing forms and places and mountains and all that, but they are mock-ups, really, projections held in place by very masterful beings for specific teaching purposes. The energy coming down from above Light Sea is coming down from Zetrnami, standing up below a void, a vortex, an hourglass-shaped golden white whirling slowly clockwise with a blue-green water-like light whirling around it slower. And this is a vortex that is designed to go from the top of space, the lowest plane of the physical universe, all the way through the astral, causal, mental, etheric, into the void, into Zetrnami's realm, up through the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, up into Agam Purusha's fiery realm to the void of what is known as, and it's not a void, but Source or Prime Creator. There are two levels above that. The silent mental realm itself, and above that, the hue expansion ray plane. So there's an administration built there of silent mentors and other beings that regulate the U expansion ray in the new way it works, because it has to be administered from somewhere. It starts there. It supports energy through Agam Purusha's realm, who supports energy down through the planes into the U Expansion Ray Academy, the great experimental realm, where silent mentors and master teachers and people experiencing how to become masterful again are brought to rub shoulders with such beings. This is not in any books that are written on Earth. It is in the Seres Agenda and the Parallel Time Trilogy to a limited degree. There are no books that are really describing any of this written yet by any author. They're not available on Earth. If you were in the Galactic Alliance, you'd see them as holographic projections from crystalline memory devices. And everything you would see would appear in more than 3 dimensions. See, that's just more advanced by far than Earth people. So beings running physical bodies in the Galactic Alliance that don't have a subconscious mind can have those bodies trained to where they see multidimensional reality and awareness. But they don't have 2-stranded DNA, they have 4 minimum. The energy flowing down through this open doorway is moving through Satnam. 2 couples of silent mentors standing to each side of him. Much bigger atmas hovering above those forms. Alternating blue, green, yellow, violet costumes or gowns. Male, female, male, female. Big atma, 4 times bigger than us. Twice as many teardrop-shaped layers of faculties. These are silent mentors. They do not normally ever interact with us. They're not responsible for training us per se. Master teachers, on the other hand, are. So we get to experience being kind of between the two. Silent mentor and master teacher. For all of the Galactic Alliance personnel and citizens in 450 million spacefaring world systems, and Zetrnami and all the rest of the galaxy, meeting with and rubbing shoulders with silent mentors is unique for them too. It was never done before. The Hue expansion ray flowing through that vortex and through Satnam, silent mentors, Light C, Eten Din, Master Ramu near the Earth, Master Opelum, the other side of the circle of beings, further out in space, to my right. Flowing down through all of us, is passing through the atmas we are, and continuing in a focused vortex of light and sound into Earth's atmosphere, right through the bodies you have sleeping on Earth, and out through the walls into the gravitational field of the planet. This is continuous when we go on these journeys. And it continues after we come back, whether you know it or not. It works one way now. We're going to send out the hues many times now together. And you're going to watch that vortex start spinning a little faster and grow brighter as we do this. We're literally connected to Source, drawing energy from Source and feeding it back to Source with our input of billions of years, finally being returned to share it with the Source to change things. This was what we were supposed to be doing all this time and weren't doing it. Practice makes perfect, it is said. But if you're already perfect, you have to practice until you know it. That's different, isn't it? Do them with me, these tones. You'll find inside silently you match these tones perfectly. You have any problem with pitch or singing or anything else. Trillian points one of his thumbs up, closed fist, out in space. And you see a oval, transparent golden light form around us. There are other master teachers here, male and female, in the circle between all of you, who teach in facilities in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. They come from all over the universe. They're going with us to experience the source, to partake in rubbing shoulders with silent mentors and master teachers, which they are. But what is being done now that is happening to us? They are learning and experiencing. We are the beings in the middle. Someone has to do it. There's a flash of light, and we find ourselves in this oval spaceship hall of us surrounding light, projected far up above the Milky Way galaxy. Instantly, we're looking down on the entire thing. Billions of stars, 7 spiral arms around a big nucleus cluster of stars. There is a opening in the center, people used to call a black hole, but it isn't a black hole. It is a doorway of a higher type of light than physical light. And it is a channel between that which is below it and that which is above it, which connects to other galaxies, to the vortex or axis of each. They're all connected together, every one of them. To explore vaster science, Free people from disease. Master genetic science and all disease. Master aging. Master the freedom to leave a body and know who you are and come back and run it. This is ancient stuff. It is not new. When they bring this kind of thing to Earth, you'll be receiving it in wonder, for you think is the first time. But really you'll be receiving it to embrace what you once knew yourself. How interesting. You look down in the Milky Way galaxy and all around us is a golden white light everywhere. The vast space between galaxies is a golden white light. It isn't physical matter. It's not light from suns. It's not linear explosions on suns giving off light. It's the energy behind and supporting all that. Everything that's manifested on each level and each dimension, each planet, each mountain range, each everything is supported by one conscious living energy, and it's all inside it. Think about that for a moment. Atmas are supposed to be running and operating freely within that energy and not stuck in the belief they're a body. That was never the original design. So returning to this state is as natural as breathing. Living unconscious running a body is as unnatural as hell itself, because it isn't natural or normal. Can you imagine me, not that I would ever do this, standing up in behind a podium in a big 15 circles of seats in a university telling people this stuff as a PhD program? They'd all go bazooka. They'd become lunatics and start riding over each other in their chairs, fighting each other over beliefs. I'd be telling the truth and they'd want to fight over their belief with each other. Think about this. That's why it's not done. Waste of time. Waste of energy. Pointless. You cannot give the truth to people operating in fear, because they will pervert it or misdirect it. When enough of the U expansion ray moves through you, you begin to have mastery over such compulsive subconscious behavior. You begin to dominate it. You begin to set it aside when it comes up and choose to look at something uplifting and beautiful. That's what I have to do every single day. I'm surrounded by lunatics on this earth. I haven't got a clue what they're doing is keeping them trapped here. How they're acting, how they're behaving, what they eat, what they do. It's just sticking them like glue right to this planet, life after life. It's going to take a powerful outside force from Earth to change that. This is what the U expansion ray is designed to accomplish. But don't think it existed past 12 years ago in the entire universe, even in the higher worlds, because it didn't. This is new. What is happening now from source down has never happened before. Only took you a couple hundred billion years to get to the point where you can begin to experience this great change in the way the lower worlds of time and space are being conducted, how they're being run. They're not going to be destroyed. That's been done before. Didn't change anything. Changing the consciousness of individuals running bodies in those planes, that will change everything. We're looking down on the Milky Way galaxy, and suddenly we are transported all the way down to about a third of the way in the big bulge of stars in the center, where so much more of them are closer together. Planets around all of them. And we're coming now to a planet about a third of the way towards the galactic core in this bulged area. It's on the fourth spiral arm away from Earth. And we're suddenly looking down on this world orbiting around a trinary star system, 3 suns, bigger one in the center, usually a smaller one unless it's a red giant, it's an older star, and then further out under the yellow sun. In this case, there's no red giant in this mix of 3 stars. There are 3 planets the size of Earth with no polar ice caps like this planet called Zetrnami-1, which is the headquarters world of more than, well, just slightly under half of all the planets and stars in the Milky Way galaxy. You can see these planets, different colors, different continents, all with glowing ocean waters, no polar ice caps. This is a trinary star system. You need to understand. Most of those stars you see in space in a Hubble Space Telescope image in our galaxy alone are either binary or trinary, not one sun like our solar system. This has a different effect upon life on those worlds, and so those worlds don't have polar ice caps, particularly with the trinary star systems. So life is much more advanced in the energy fields that emanate from those suns, from the hue out to those worlds. This is not new to you, except in this lifetime you're running on Earth. It was well known to you long ago. Something happened that took all that away from you. Sad as that is, it happened to me too. I can't say in a worse way than any of you, but in some ways probably. I came here as an ambassador from the Galactic Alliance and was killed for my efforts, not by people on Earth. In raising this body up and going through this lifetime, I had to do it pretty much solo because of what I knew. Because no one else would have worked with me anyway or believed me, even if I had spoken about it. So I remained silent until this work started being presented to the world's people openly as people could find it, as available as it is on the internet. People will just skip right by it. Fear drives them that way. Fear to change. Scared of losing loved ones and families because they've lost so many in previous lives. It's pointless to have such fear. We don't own these bodies we're running. We don't own planets we're playing around on any more than we own the sun and can tell it what to do with itself. Think about that. We're custodians, guardians, caretakers. We're supposed to be of worlds and galaxies and dimensions. We're being trained for this purpose, you know. Nothing else seems to matter. And we find ourselves moving down to slightly lavender and pink clouds, luminous because water vapor on this planet is charged with the hue. Come down through the clouds, you see way off to the west in the distance a big curve of golden, luminous, calm ocean. And golden diamond-like sand. Trees taller than those on Earth, with leaves and needles glowing because the water in them is charged. Get it? H2O is a medium in which the hue can be stored. Earth's atmosphere and systems are depleted for the most part. They don't glow. There's not enough charge in them yet to spontaneously wake up masses of fear-driven, unconscious people. Not yet. But that is underway now. We come down to hover above a city, and it's not like anything on Earth. This huge field, perfectly horticultured, perfectly landscaped. 3-tiered waterfalls circling water down streams that circle and are purified. tall minaret-type pyramidal buildings with silver white faces, spherical buildings with glass sides on tripod legs, big disc-shaped or cylindrical flat 4-foot high blue landing pad with a mile-long Emerald Star cruiser landed on it diagonally in the far right. In the middle of this city structure of lakes and parks and waterways, all glowing water, is a huge, long, curved white stone building with little glittering flakes in it, reflecting golden light from the sun like formica. It's not transparent, it's translucent. You can just about see through it. You can see a pale shaft of white golden light coming down the center of this dome from somewhere way out in space. And we're suddenly moved by Turellian in a group around him right through the top of the dome. And we're hovering in a circle of beings around Ambassador Turellian, who's standing inside this beam of light, which is focused down on the central spot of this big disc-shaped blue stage. There are 15 tiers on white stone circular platforms, wider each one as they go up, so the stage is way down the center, and these 5,000 members sit in these ladder-like chairs that make up the Galactic Alliance Council. They're standing up in white robes with a gold sash from the right elbow to the lower left hip, with their hand up, flat, fingers spread like that. Just flat, with their hand up, palm out. They see us surrounding Turellian. They can see us with physical eyes. They got 4-stranded DNA, remember? Some of them have more than that. The Sayrays had 12. But they don't have physical bodies anymore. Turellian's showing one that looks physical, and if those Galactic Alliance members walked up and shook his hand, they could. But it's made of a projection of the pure hue through the 12 strands stored in memory. It creates a physical form temporarily. It does not need to eat or sleep or go to the bathroom or anything like that. And so you see him in the middle of this beam of light. We're in a circle of beings up near the ceiling, the atoms we are and the forms we show each other. And then you see these 5,000 different tiered layers, levels of beings, move into concentric circles around us, all 5,000. There's a flash of light coming down through the ceiling through Turellian, and we're all transported up in space high above planet Zetrnami-1. We look up and see this vortex that followed us here from space outside of Earth. Turellian isn't done. This oval light surrounding all of us now has considerably expanded. I'm standing beside Turellian, Et and Din are hovering above him. Lightsea is standing on his other side, kind of getting ready to make another leap. There's a flash of bright light from the hue coming into this oval sphere of light like the hull of a spaceship. And we find ourselves way up in space now. We're halfway between the Milky Way to our right and the slightly bigger Andromeda spiral galaxy to our left. And suddenly we're projected clear across that vast void between these two galaxies, and we're moving down into the 7th spiral arm of this galaxy. Closer to the bulge of the galactic core of stars is a world, the blue world, with the most brilliant green plants and trees, lakes and rivers, 8 or 9 continents. It's a massive world. No polar ice caps. 4 planets the size of Earth orbiting it. And each of them have several moons with life on them as well, like our moon. No polar ice caps on any of them. It's a quadruple sun system. There are those in the Milky Way too. 4 suns. 2 blue hot giants, one bigger than the other. Massive yellow sun bigger than ours. And a slightly smaller yellow sun further out. When we come down to hover above this world, you can see that there appears to be domed cities in triangular patterns on a big, massive continent over the equator. There are 3 or 4 more of these continents, one on the North Pole, one in the South. Luminous blue, almost violet oceans surrounding what appears to be emerald green luminous beaches. In the center of that landmass is a domed complex building, blue stone, laced with golden particles, transparent, not made of glass. And inside 10,000 Galactic Alliance Andromeda Council members with their blue sashes and their gold bands, one from each shoulder crisscrossed over their abdomen, comes to each hip, in blue leather-like chairs. These are races that look human, humanoid, tall, bird-like, lion-like, Pashat-like, things you can't even imagine. But atmas of a brilliant, sane, enlightened nature hovering above these forms. You can see them there because we're near the ceiling in a circle around Turelian. One of the most senior master teachers levitates from the front row of one of these chairs and comes up and joins Turelian. He's almost as tall as Turelian. They know each other. There's a female counterpoint of this being standing on the other side of Turelian, taller than any of us. And they clasp fingers together with their hands, like connecting. And they drop their hands. The energy coming through the ceiling of this dome is much brighter. These 10,000 Galactic Alliance, Andromeda, which is Cepharis, or Medulanta as it's called, move up in circles in between the Galactic Alliance Council members. One male, one female beside each Galactic Alliance Council member, male or female. And we're suddenly high above the central governing world, which is called Archendra, the home world of the Andromeda Galactic Council, Galactic Alliance Council. It's actually the Andromeda Galaxy Galactic Alliance Council, AGGAC. It's called Cepharis, the Distant Wonder, by them, and this is how the Milky Way Galactic Alliance Council refers to their galaxy, our nearest galactic neighbor. It was these beings, and masterful beings that are not even disclosed, begin to be disclosed to people on Earth, like the Say-Rays, who populated the Andromeda Galaxy. The Say-Rays did all this. Brought all these councils into their existence as they are today. Inspired them. Inspired Opelum to bring the Galactic Alliance into the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance 500,000 years ago in our galaxy. And so we find ourselves hovering above this planet, Archendra. This big portal leading to the higher worlds was brought with us from one galaxy to the next. It's still in space above us. We're in a circle of beings with, let's see, 15,000 fellow beings now. 5,000 from the Galactic Alliance, 10,000 from Archendra world. Sepharis, the Andromeda Galaxy, we call it. And we're suddenly shot up as a big oval light, straight up into the opening of this hourglass vortex, following Zetrnami and the two couples of silent menders, right up through the opening, through the narrow passageway. And we're shot out the other end. We come out the other end. We are now in a place far bigger, far brighter than all the galaxies put together in the physical universe, you understand. It is a pale cobalt blue light everywhere, but much brighter than the stars in our galaxy. And all you see is us moving upward through this vibrant sound. It sounds like millions of men and women's voices singing the hue with perfect tones. It looks like we lost V there, so we'll keep going. Hopefully he'll come back. We're moving through the same interdimensional hourglass-shaped vortex we do in the Andromeda Galaxy. We've just shifted locations. We're only 2 galaxies from each other. There are billions of them out there. We're just stretching the imagination between 2 now a little bit. I don't know what happened to V, but he's not back. We're moving up through this vortex. We come out the other side. We are, of course, in the void, moving upward. The sound in this void is like millions of men and women's voices singing the hue in perfect, wondrous harmony, all at the same time. Millions of them. And it's compelling us upward until we begin to approach a white diamond-like beach, which is the beginning of the massive circular landmass we call the Atma Loch or Zetrnami's realm. We find ourselves looking down at our bare feet, wiggling our toes in luminous, diamond-like spherical crystal sand. Zetrnami is hovering above the beach. Turelian standing offshore in the void, as if he's standing up to his knees in ocean water, but it's not ocean water. So we're moved up into the void from Archendra, from the central governing world of the Andromeda Galaxy. And we are in the void with our feet standing on luminous bare feet, glowing diamond-like particles of sand, glowing a foot above the sand. A particle extends up through our body from the sand, just one. Moves up through the top of your head, lifts your head up smiling. This is that perfect form you show each other about 36. Goes into the white core of your being, the real being you are, the Atma, makes it brighter. And now it's going to turn on one teardrop-shaped faculty, just one, in the thick layer of each color of the spectrum of light, all through the violet exterior and into the golden luminous layer that surrounds it. When Zetrnami starts flying up over the tops of the trees, levitating right over him. Big Atma he is, bigger than all of us. He stops over the jungle. These birds with long V-shaped split tails, rainbow-colored feathers, perfectly blended. Double sets of bird wings like a hummingbird or dragonfly, hovering. Open their mouths and begin to sing with human-sounding, perfect male and female vocal cords. The height of their strength, about 36. But above them is hovering a spherical being 4 times bigger than us, twice as many layers of teardrop-shaped faculties. And they are running these parent bird bodies. And they're singing, and you realize the vibration of these different tones blended together are holding together the void, powering it, maintaining it. And then they fly back down inside the trees and we move on. We find ourselves suddenly projected right up the Christmas tree shaped fountain that's through a triangular opening in the back of the blue stone throne chair toward the base of a long snow-covered blue stone mountain range. We see this square pyramid, golden-sided, quartz-capped roof being held by two huge lapis lazuli blue stone laced with gold pillars, glowing, of course. And we're hovering right outside the opening near the mountain base. There's a tree. It looks like a big fir tree, blue-green, but the needles, it's made of light. It takes this form. There's a white golden shaft of light, a cylindrical light around it, filling a 30-foot wide, scalloped blue stone-edged fountain bowl. And we're going up that shaft of light to go into the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. So the next thing we know, this huge oval hull of a spaceship of light being projected from Turelian's closed fist with his thumbs up, the center of all these beings, is moving upward. Up into the shaft of light. We come out the other end and we're just going a short way from the top of Zetrnami's realm, which is very vast, to the beginning of the 6th realm. There is a special place built in a parallel dimension between the two called the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We can see down through the opening below us this big tree, and then it closes and vanishes. Then we look into the distance and we're moving very quickly toward a vast circular landmass, floating in a more brilliant cobalt blue space. No suns, no moons, no planets, no stars. Everything here is the Atma. Everything here manifests light and sound. We move over these vast countrysides of mountain ranges and lakes and rivers and animals of every imaginable kind. Birds, Atmas hovering above all of them, swapping places, learning how to respect all life. In the center of this landmass is 6 blue stone snow-covered mountain peaks in a circle around a blue glass-like tower. We're hovering above the point of the tower, looking down into it. We see this tower comes off of a circular stone disc-shaped island, the base of all 6 mountains, surrounded by a donut-shaped blue-green luminous lake. 2/3 of the way, this tapering, smooth, blue glass-like side of this tower, there's a flattened oval administration area, goes up to a minaret point as tall as the mountain peaks. And there is another more massive scalloped bluestone fountain in the center. The shaft of white golden light is, of course, coming down through this tower from higher realities to feed the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We know that at the base of this island, there is a 4-foot high rectangular stone, blue, lapis lazuli, gold laced, curved polished edges, and a 4-foot wide diamond centered. It's like a crystal blue sphere hovering above this pedestal, not touching it, and a cobalt blue star gleaming radiantly in the center of it. This is a focus point that channels energy down into the hollowed out interior of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. Inside are 12 weeping willow type trees around the inside of this huge, it's not really an oval, it's like a flattened sphere. And there are silent mentors standing above these trees in their garb, long hair to their shoulders, white light for faces, no facial features. Male and female standing above each tree in a circle around white leather-like chairs, facing away from the central shaft of light where Turelian is. And the white chairs are in a circle around this central shaft of light. between the shaft of light and the trees near the outer inner circumference of this hollowed out interior. Atmas 4 times larger than us are hovering above the forms these beings choose to show us. So we're going to spend a moment. You're going to suddenly see 15,000 white leather-like chairs appear on different levels, all the way between the shaft of light where Turelian is and the silent mentors. And then every Galactic Alliance and Andromeda Galactic Alliance council members have their physical appearing forms that look 36 sitting in those chairs. All of you are in chairs closer to Turelian. What is happening here is the light coming through this shaft, this doorway, this tower, this interdimensional portal is moving down through Turelian and through all of us. The forms we have here that look perfect up through the core of our beings as Atmas. And then it's beamed out of respect up the trees, up through the silent mentor bodies, up through the core of their beings, and then each one of 12 sends a beam upward that join up above the shaft of light and continue up in the shaft of light. You see light moving upward into it, then you see light coming down into each of these beams, into the tops of the Atmas they are, through the heads of the body forms they show you, out to the body forms you have sitting in one of these chairs, up the Atma you are, the white core, then beamed right back to Turelian, up through the shaft of light. And you can see this moving both directions, the same light, the same high note of a flute, the pitch of a humming sound. So what we're doing is rubbing shoulders, the only place we can, with silent mentors, the mechanics of creation here. What they're doing with us, I haven't got a clue. Because what they're doing has never been done before. What master teachers on one side and them on the other are doing between us has never been done before. We have yet to see what the manifestation of this is all about, but I do know it has something to do with managing the lower dimensions of time and space in ways where subconscious minds will no longer be permitted. And this will be a permanent change in creation. And it is underway. And we find ourselves, all of us, instantly projected up this shaft of light above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy tower until we go up many planes, one after the other, brighter and brighter creations, less and less physical in appearance. We come out into a fiery realm, many dimensions above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, many dimensions above the void. And we're in a fiery realm of orange and yellow and bleed and purple and green and lavender and all this fiery light coming in, swirling around, disappearing below us, swirling around us. It is the raw power of eternity that's placed here from the source itself above here, so that this being that's approaching us, this massive spherical being, you can't even describe the layers of teardrops this guy has. It's bigger than silent mentors, dozens of them put together. He approaches us. And then you hear his gracious voice telling you you're welcome here in the land of Agamlok. And he tells you that this is where the raw energy is put together and sent off in perfectly formed channels of light and sound through different doorways from here down through the lower planes into the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, into Satnam's realm. And it's as vast as galaxies, hundreds of galaxies put together, down in the void, through the other planes, into your place on Earth. And he points to a tree that now appears in the distance, a vast tree, a gigantic tree, miles high. Looks like a silver blue, radiant, it's actually a white, almost a white silver blue green tinged kind of a tree. Each needle is perfectly formed on each massive branch. The ones at the base are huge streams of roots made of energy disappearing in the ground below us, but there's no ground, it's just energy. The shaft or the trunk of this tree is glowing with white golden light, brighter and more pure than the fiery light in Agam Purusha's realm. It's humming a high tone to us. And he gives us permission to go further in his realm. We find ourselves around Turley and moving right inside past these tree trunks, passing little needles on each branch, and you see whole worlds imaged in these needles. Each single needle on this tree of life is connected to some location in the upper realities, into the Hugh Expansion Ray Academy, into Satnam's realm, into the void, down through the lower planes, into places like Archendra and Zetrnami&Archendra, through the beings, and even through the solar system where the sun's called Sol is, where planet Earth orbits in the third orbit planetary position. And we suddenly find ourselves shot up the trunk of the inside of this tree. It can't even be described in human terms. We come out the other end and we're moving at tremendous speed into a vast difference. It's a far brighter cobalt blue space. And in the center is a single silvery golden white galaxy. Appears to be stars turning around the center of the axis of a galaxy. And we move this whole group of beings right through two of these things we thought were stars. They are actually big beings, orbiting in the place of what stars would be to form this galactic image, which is the image from which all galaxies are made. These are spherical beings, the image from which all of us exist. Spherical. Here you do not have a perfect human-looking form. We don't project that for each other here. That's absorbed back into the core of your being. And we're moving through these two beings, billions of them. There's as much space between them as two stars in the galaxy. And we're suddenly shot all the way towards this hollowed out central third, a hollowed out area of this galaxy. And in the center is a white disc-shaped stone island. And hovering above it is a massive being. Bigger than 100 galaxies. It's just massive, sitting there in the middle of it. Thousands of teardrop-shaped layers of faculties. It is a nexus, a focal point of source or prime creator. It is where all atmas running all forms and all of creation, upper or lower worlds, connect and always have. There's a presence drawing us towards the center, and as we're suddenly shot through each of these teardrops of this massive being, they are like the distance between two stars in space. And these teardrops are spherical here. They're spherical. And then we're in the center of this white light. We cannot tell the difference between the white core of our being and the center of source or prime creator. And a deep baritone voice comes out of the mists and speaks to us. No throne chair. Deep baritone voice. The celestial qualities of the feminine blended with it so subtly. It cannot be compared to men and women or anything like that in the lower worlds. But it comes from here. And this voice says, "Welcome home. Brave travelers, you have returned again." I'm simply telling you what it's saying, in case your mind or something else may try to divert this. When you return here, he continues, you're beginning to be part of the solution to change the way creation is run, instead of remaining part of the unconscious problem. You are welcomed home. Now look about the beings that circle this central island that make what you thought was a galaxy when you first approached here. And you realize they are individual atmas. And you realize that one of them is you. And you never left. Now you will be returned back to your lives on earth directly. You can't stay here long bringing a kind of an awareness from earth all the way back here, or your body on earth would cease to function. It's too far removed from the lower worlds. Be at peace. You are now under the guidance of the Hue expansion ray itself. There's a flash of light, and all of us find ourselves hovering near the ceiling back on Earth where we live. The couple from the Galactic Alliance assigned to you is still there. You're showing each other your perfect human type body forms. They smile at you and vanish. And right from where you are near the ceiling, you can see across time and space and see them getting up from egg-shaped cushioned white chairs, blue, vibrant, radiant carpet, in a lounge area aboard the Emerald Star cruiser stationed in the ice rings that circle the gas giant planet Saturn. And they look at you, the Atmas hovering above them, and you realize they had to leave their bodies in the Galactic Alliance behind to go on this journey because no body forms or ships can travel into the void or higher. You look down at your body and you realize there's a white golden light from the source where we just came from moving down through you. It's passing through your body that's asleep. It's moving through the walls of your house. It's charging Earth's atmosphere a little here, a little there. It enters 3 pyramids stationed as devices, 2 in the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, 1 in the Atlantic, 1 in the Pacific, and 1 inside the hollowed-out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. These are devices with a statue of Zetrnami in them, which is an interdimensional doorway. The hue is brought with us to it, connects to the source, and then it's beamed out into space, where these 3 beams from these 3 pyramids join into 1 thicker beam, which enters the central interior of a more massive pyramid, golden-sided, quartz-capped, hovering stationary between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet called Maldek between Mars and Jupiter. And then it's beamed out into space, instantly passing through pyramids that have been appearing between stars. And it's sent to the galactic core and up the white golden shaft. It's not a black hole. And it is returned to source, sent back to Ogden Purusha's realm, recharged and sent back through the planes, and it never stops. So you realize as you come back to enlighten your consciousness on Earth, as an Atma, our responsibility is to become a trustworthy co-creator with the source behind all life. And we're beginning to do that. This is one way. When you're ready, awaken your bodies and open your eyes. You can turn on your mics now, if you wish to. How much of that do you on Earth know when you open your eyes? How much of that journey can you remember right now? Just be honest. It doesn't matter. You're doing well. How much can you remember?
Part of them.
Good. That's an honest answer. Part of them. Good.
Yeah.
V, what about you? How much of that?
Yes, that I
How much? A little bit here, a little bit there?
think less than 50%
Okay, good.
to come back to once again.
And you know why that is? Once you open both eyes, that experience gets cut off. But the Atma you are went on the journey, not your physical body on Earth. You can't get this self on Earth to comprehend that. It's multidimensional. The Atma is spherical. It's multidimensional. Can comprehend all that stuff. It's your job, let's say the Atma you are, to enlighten your consciousness on earth more and more and more, to get it used to thinking and imagining and being like this, right? So when you go on the journey a second time, which you will, then you get to experience objectively from the journey how much you brought back to your life on earth. It's still there, but you can't flood that all down and through to human consciousness at one time. The body and brain on earth is not designed to handle that. So you've got to condition it and recondition it and change it to be more of a vehicle of the Atma on earth, genetically, physically, in every way. Does that make sense? Any questions at all?
No question. Go ahead ขวัญไม่เป็นไรค่ะพี่แพรรี่ก่อนเลยพี่บอกว่าไม่มี
This is a very unusual journey. I've taken people to Archendra once before and never in such detail.
I just would like to ask you about when you mentioned that for this journey you took us to meet with 3 masters. One is the master of disease. I'm not sure if I captured it right. Master of disease, master of genes, things like that.
Genetics.
So could you please elaborate?
Master of what and what, Pari?
Not really master Kwan when Scott said that he means that we had this ability before and then we have to gain this becoming this master back again in us.
Yeah. Is that what you meant or something else?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. She understand that you took us to these 3 masters about the aging, about genetics, and another one I don't remember about.
What 3 masters are you talking about?
Maybe just misunderstanding.
You mean you're talking about 3 worlds where special trainings are conducted?
No, it's what I meant, that we had this kind of mastery in us before. We just have to get it back. Aging, genetics, and another one, what is it, Kwan? I don't remember.
I was a kind of lost and I lose some concentration during when you explain, but I just catch that you mean like saying something like master of aging, master of genes.
Genetics.
Yeah, genetics.
I'm saying that the beings we work with, like the Oceanans, the Zetrnami, anyone in Andromeda, most of the people in the Galactic Alliance, they're all cross-trained. They have master's degrees like intelligence in physics and biology that you couldn't even comprehend. By the time they're 10, they have these abilities. They travel the stars. They have for hundreds of millions of years. Spaceships like that are not new. Mastering genetic science is what the Zetrnami and the Oceanans and the Seres have done. The Seres did it before all of them. So when we rub shoulders with them, it's meant to change us for the better. Does that make sense? And that has to do with our ability to master our own forms we're running, too. Nothing should be unconscious in an awakened universe. We have never been the bodies we're running now. I'm certainly not this one. This doesn't look like Sean Rawl or Captain Calum exactly. Similar, but not the same. I've superimposed certain genetic areas over it, but it's not enough. It's not the same body form. So we work around the body forms and the limitations we grew up with to get the consciousness through to Earth's atmosphere. That's doing our job. To help allow the hue expansion rate to flow through us freely for our benefit, but allow it to continue for the benefit of all life. This is how we're supposed to be operating. Does that make sense? That's how we're supposed to be. It's not how people on Earth are. Not by any means. Not anywhere near it. But figure it this way. If you can get through it, and I can, someday so can they. It has to rub off on them. You can't do it face to face with them. They'll just fight you. Defend their territory and their illusion and their perverted ways. They don't want to change. They're afraid to. It takes courage to change. You have to be silent most of the time around their fellow beings because they wouldn't understand if you opened your mouth anyway. And if you did, they'd put up their fists, you know. Want to debate it with you. Doesn't work. Doesn't change anything that way. We are guided to meet certain beings and talk more openly about this kind of thing, but for most people, remain silent and let the hue change them when it will, as it knows best. Stay out of our own way. Right? Don't try to take on the world and save these people. It's not your job to save them. If the U expansion ray wants to save them or keep a body around, it will. Or it'll bring them out of that body into something greater. We don't want to get in the way of that. Does that make sense? I wonder if you even realize yet how precious this little journey is for you too, and Pari. Not about the money. I don't make much money doing any of this anyway. It's about something else, isn't it?
This journey is very extraordinary. Expand more experience, deeper and wider, much, much deeper.
Now this is going to be live on YouTube, on hers and mine. It's not an implant removal journey that's private or anything like that. It's meant for certain people to hear this and see it and trigger something. To have them to get the courage awakened in them so they can step forward and go on these journeys. They have to have a lot of fear moved out of the way before they can do that. Just like both of you had to do as well, right? You had to do it because there was no other choice. You either move forward and upward or you just stay where you are. Now, I know you're not going to want to stay where you are, so you're going to expand. You're becoming part of the solution, like Pari. All of us are becoming more of the solution and less of the problem. We're not part of politics. We're not part of religions. We're part of the source energy itself, which goes beyond religions and politics and can be a doorway to change everything. Is that okay with you? Any other questions? V, anything at all? Or Kwan or Pari? I think Pari wants to say something too. But go ahead.
Let Pari first.
No, go ahead first.
Okay. Sometime in some journeys, also today, I saw two viewpoints of, I think it's like a energy. First viewpoint is like a when closing eyes, I saw like a something flow from up to down like a fountain, and the second viewpoint is like a flow up. I think it's like a energy.
You can speak further away from the mic like this.
Oh, okay.
Like that. Yeah, okay. Right there. Go ahead, speak.
The first viewpoint is like
further away. You don't need it that close. About there. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
it okay now?
Little closer. Little closer. There, right about there. Try that.
First viewpoint is like flow from up to down, like a fountain. The second viewpoint is like a circle into one viewpoint. Yeah. Is that I don't know what kind of energy, but I've seen sometime when closing eyes.
Well, that's like you looking out of you from the center through a sphere. It can be a tunnel. It can be in all directions. It can be very focused on a point, like another planet, from the white core of your being. So that's all like waking up higher faculties of awareness as an APA, not a brain and body. as the Atma that's running that body. That's what's really waking up. Doing that changes the intelligence of your physical life on earth, makes it more brilliant, more capable, higher IQ. Use more of your brain. You start understanding more stuff. How do you know how much your brain's turned on right now? Nobody's measured it. I'm not even sure they can properly. So yeah, those are things you're seeing accurately that you have to remember what they are. Because you already know, you just have to let yourself know. And then let your brain and personality on earth know it. At least a broad concept of it. So you can bring more of this higher awareness to your life on earth. And then Pari, you had something?
Yes, I'll just I make it short, but I don't know it can be short. From the very beginning of the journey, I fell into sleep too. But because into this sleeping, there was electric wave, hit me strongly because I know somehow there's still fear somewhere. I have to thank for those galactic couple, to help this.
Right.
And, if you go back to watch video, you see me like this because that they're trying to help to to get rid of the fear from me. Thank you very much. And also, I like to say, once, like you mentioned every time, once you start recording or even before, start telepathic, right? So once you start saying things, I start seeing things like you mentioned. And before this journey, I see many different forms of beings before, different type.
Sure.
And now we go on this journey today, just like, to meet them again. And thank you very much. This journey is, I think, very extraordinary.
I can tell you, you had no fear on the journey, but as soon as you opened your eyes on earth, that's when the doubt kicks in.
Yep.
That's when your fear kicks back in. It's old habits, bad habits. It's being addicted to looking into fear and negative things. It's just a bad addiction. And you got to drop that habit. You just got to let it go.
People don't understand. They don't even know that they have fears. They cannot admit it. Because we co-create for billions of years. We don't know what fears are hidden. So we really need help.
Everybody on earth knows they have fear. They don't know what it is, and so they get caught in indulging and focusing in it. The whole social structure of earth is designed to keep you focused into some kind of fear, because the people that make up the corporations and the TV shows and all the other industries are in fear themselves, perpetuating this collectively on a planetary scale. This is the nuttiest, most lunatic, insane asylum of beings in the universe. This planet is nuts in the way that people aren't living normally. They think they are, but that's only because they're afraid to admit that they aren't. Who would they talk to? Their psychologist? Their psychiatrist? Those people are living in fear too. It doesn't work. They can't get help that way. They can get drugs, suppress symptoms, but they can't get the help they need that way. No. It's got to come from out there beyond Earth where they know how to do it, because Earth people don't. You want to travel the stars, it's got to come from people that have been doing it for maybe several billion years, because people on Earth don't know how to do it anymore, and they're afraid to do it.
And one more, today is very special. We go to another galaxy, to really be with the galaxy council, something extraordinary.
You got to understand, these beings went with us collectively to the source back home, because they're so enlightened. When they come back, they distribute it to hundreds of billions, trillions of people. And all those beings can help the unconscious planet people here on Earth. We're going to need all their help to fix this place. It's that twisted. It just means that people are incarcerated in the illusion of being a body and so afraid to change. They just want to believe in something on faith, they're taught, so they never have to think about it, never have to look at it, don't have to change. They can just go to heaven when they die. The problem is they don't go to heaven when they die. They're compelled to come back here. There is no permanent heaven where people go being immature and nuts as they are on earth, because they would take their psychotic, fear-driven personalities and destroy everywhere they go. So they aren't allowed into the upper worlds that way, are they? We aren't even allowed into the upper worlds without guides that keep our fears turned off until we can master this for ourselves. Common sense. It's just common sense. If you were in their shoes, you would be doing the same thing with us. Carefully. Right? Carefully.
And I'd like to share the part of me, Scott, when we are more awakened. We only think like to do things to benefit others, to respect others. Really, we just want to make everybody respect others and benefit all of life, like a purpose of living.
Yeah, there's a balance. It means that while you're doing that, you have to include yourself as an Atma in being benefited. The energy that comes through you benefits you, but its nature is not to allow you to grab it and hold it selfishly to yourself. It won't permit you to do that. It'll make you let go. So it can come through you. You add your godliness of a being into that channel. You add momentum to it. And then it comes through you for the benefit of others. It goes all the way back to source. You can't put a handle on it and grab it. Try grabbing the air. That's like trying to grab the hue and hold on to it and say, it's mine. I possess this. You think you possess the planet? What person on earth has ever run a body that could claim they own Earth, that could keep it? No one. You don't even own the bodies you run. You can't keep those either. So what is the point of life? Something other than what people think it is on Earth. And if they want freedom, and they want to remember how they once were and recapture it and go to greater levels, I have to start doing what we're meant to do. Returning to source, to report back to the top all of our experiences so that we can start contributing our hundreds of billions of years into the source to help change things. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Literally. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Every day we're alive on any planet. The Galactic Alliance councils from 2 galaxies went with us to do that very thing. Because these journeys get them to rub shoulders with the silent mentors that they can't do in the Milky Way or Andromeda. It isn't done. I told you the silent mentors don't mix it up with training Atmas on any worlds or any galaxies. That's not their job. Not normally. So we have to go somewhere where there's no negative nature brought with us, and then we can rub shoulders with them. Pretty simple, common sense, really. Makes sense. Because we come back changed. We just do. A little bit more. This is good.
Maybe sometime later we can go to another galaxy to meet with another
Well,
galaxy.
I was thinking we could start venturing 5 galaxy ways to where the how do you pronounce? Yes. Yeah. They're called the Donventalus. They are the same as the Zetrnami, the tall, silver hair, violet eyes, except they all came from 5 galaxies away, split into 2 groups, not in war. One group came here to colonize more than half the galaxy and make it an enlightened, massive number of stars and planets. That's the Zetrnami. The Donventalus are their cousins. Some of them have violet eyes, some of them have red eyes, some of them have green eyes or blue eyes, but they're the same body, ivory skin, silver hair. They're from the same basic stock. And those 2 races were brought into higher development by guess who? The Bassoteralians people, billions of years ago. This is ancient stuff. You're not going to find this stuff in the UFO and extraterrestrial communities online, on the internet, and what they're talking about is not about any of this. They don't even know about the Galactic Alliance near the center of the galaxy. They don't even know about that yet. This is deeper than that, far deeper. So we want to bring this kind of expanded consciousness, this real disclosure, to people on Earth. It's not just about telling people there's extraterrestrials out. Trump made a statement today that he's going to tell the Pentagon to release their files on extraterrestrials now. He doesn't even know if aliens exist, but he's commanding they release all these files. So disclosure is underway. It doesn't mean that he's ready to stand in front of a pulpit and announce the U expansion ray is going to transform the planet. We're not there yet. But we're on that way. Got to end the wars first, don't you? You got to get rid of homeless people all over the planet. That's got to happen too. There's more than enough money to take care of that problem with a small fraction of the money they just bought in the United States through balanced tariffs in 1 year. $22 trillion. 100 billion is a small fraction of 1 trillion. 100 billion is a trillion, actually. So take 2 or 3 billion of that and take care of the homeless. Nothing. It's nothing. It's a speck. They just don't know to do it yet. They haven't even thought about it yet. That's the problem. It's interesting. So I'm going to bring this recording to a close and we can chat.